Welcome to Ancient Relics Keeper, where buried mysteries, unsolved phenomena, and the darkest corners of history slowly unravel through chilling tales and forgotten truths waiting to be uncovered. Beneath the intricate threads of our reality lies a veiled junction, a cosmic threshold where time spirals, space splinters, and unseen realms hum with silent secrets. Enigmatic occurrences and daring scientific visions urge us to look past the shroud, into a mirrored universe where the very laws of being bend in defiance of our own. The Yonaguni Monument, the pyramid forgotten by time. In the vast, icy wilderness of Antarctica, where temperatures plummet below -50 degrees Celsius and the wind howls across endless snowfields, a team of scientists embarked on a mission that would spark one of the most mind-bending mysteries of modern science. It was 2016, and researchers working on a NASA project called ANITA, short for Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, made a discovery that seemed to defy the laws of physics. They detected strange particles called neutrinos shooting upward from deep within the Earth, instead of raining down from outer space as expected. This puzzling event led some scientists to propose a wild idea. Could these particles be evidence of a parallel universe, a mirror world where the rules of reality, including the flow of time, might work in reverse? Let's start by unpacking what happened. ANITA was a special experiment designed to study tiny, mysterious particles that zip through the universe. These particles, called neutrinos, are like ghostly travelers. They're so small and light that they can pass through almost anything: your body, the Earth, even entire planets, without leaving a trace. Scientists call them ghost particles because they're incredibly hard to detect. Neutrinos are usually created in extreme events, like exploding stars or nuclear reactions in the sun, and they travel to Earth from outer space. When they arrive, they typically come from above, zooming downward through the atmosphere. To catch these elusive particles, the ANITA team used a giant balloon floating high above Antarctica's icy landscape. This balloon carried sensitive antennas that could pick up faint signals from neutrinos colliding with ice molecules deep below. Antarctica was the perfect place for this experiment because its thick ice sheets act like a massive natural detector, and the remote location keeps radio noise to a minimum. The team expected to see signals from neutrinos coming from the cosmos, passing through the Earth, and hitting the ice from above. But in 2016, and again in 2018, ANITA recorded something completely unexpected. Instead of detecting neutrinos coming down from space, the antennas picked up signals suggesting that high-energy neutrinos were traveling upward from inside the Earth. It was as if these particles were emerging from the ground, defying everything scientists knew about how neutrinos behave. To understand why this was so strange, imagine throwing a ball into the air and expecting it to fall back down, only to see it shoot up from the ground instead. It didn't make sense according to the rules of physics as we know them. The scientists were baffled. They double-checked their equipment, analyzed the data, and ruled out errors. The signals were real, but they didn't fit the standard model, the set of rules that explains how particles like neutrinos work in our universe. This model, built over decades of research, is like a guidebook for the building blocks of reality, describing how particles interact with forces like gravity or electromagnetism. The upward-moving neutrinos seemed to break these rules, and the ANITA team knew they had stumbled onto something extraordinary. So what could explain this anomaly? One possibility was that something unusual was happening in Antarctica's ice or atmosphere, creating false signals. The parallel universe idea came from a group of physicists who suggested that the strange neutrinos might belong to a mirror universe created at the same time as ours, during the Big Bang, the massive explosion 13.8 billion years ago that birthed our universe. In this mirror universe, particles could behave oppositely to ours. For example, a special kind of neutrino called a sterile neutrino might exist in this other universe and sneak into ours under rare conditions, like those detected by ANITA. These sterile neutrinos could travel in ways that seem impossible in our world, appearing to come from the Earth's core because of their bizarre origins. To make sense of this, think of our universe as one side of a coin, and the parallel universe as the other side. Both sides exist together, but they're separate with different rules. The neutrinos detected by Anita might have been a rare glimpse of that other side, slipping through an invisible barrier between the two worlds. If true, this would mean that reality is far stranger than we ever imagined, with multiple universes coexisting, each with its own version of physics. However, the parallel universe idea is just one of many theories. Other scientists argue that the signals could be explained by natural phenomena we don't yet fully understand, like unusual interactions between neutrinos and Antarctica's ice. Experiments like IceCube, another neutrino detector in Antarctica, are now hunting for more clues to confirm or debunk Anita's findings. So far, no definitive evidence proves the existence of a parallel universe, and the scientific community remains cautious. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and the Anita discovery is still under intense scrutiny. The story of Anita's discovery is a reminder of how much we still don't know about the cosmos. In the frozen silence of Antarctica, a simple balloon experiment opened a window to questions that challenge our understanding of reality. Were those upward-moving neutrinos a glitch, a new law of physics, or a hint of a mirror universe where time runs backward? For now, the mystery remains unsolved, but it fuels the curiosity of scientists and dreamers alike, pushing us to explore the boundaries of what's possible in our vast, wondrous universe. Dvarka, the sunken city of a god. Imagine a moment so powerful that it didn't just create one universe but two twin realms born from the same cosmic spark, each unfolding in opposite directions, like reflections in a mirror. This is the heart of a bold idea in modern physics called the Janus point theory. Named after Janus, the Roman god with two faces looking in opposite directions, this theory suggests that the Big Bang, the explosive event that birthed our universe 13.8 billion years ago, also created a second mirror universe where time itself flows backward. It's a story that stretches the limits of imagination, blending science, mystery, and the question of what reality truly is. Let's dive into this cosmic tale, exploring how a group of physicists came to propose such a wild idea and what it means for our understanding of the universe. The story begins with the Big Bang, a concept most of us have heard before. Picture an infinitely tiny, hot, and dense point containing all the matter, energy, and space that would become our universe. About 13.8 billion years ago, this point exploded, expanding rapidly to form stars, galaxies, and eventually our own planet Earth. Scientists have spent decades studying the Big Bang, piecing together its history using telescopes, particle accelerators, and complex math. But there's always been something puzzling about it. Why did the universe start in such a highly ordered, low-entropy state, only to become messier and more chaotic over time? Entropy is a fancy word for disorder, like how a tidy room gets messy if you don't clean it. The universe, according to physics, should move from order to chaos, but the Big Bang seems to have started with an almost perfect order, which is hard to explain. Enter a group of physicists, led by figures like Julian Barber, who began wrestling with this puzzle. They wondered if the Big Bang wasn't just the start of our universe but something even grander, a moment that split reality into two. In 2014, Barber and his colleagues proposed the Janus point theory, a radical idea that challenges how we think about time, space, and the cosmos. They suggested that the Big Bang, which they called the Janus point, was a unique moment of symmetry, like the center of a cosmic hourglass. From this point, two universes emerged, each expanding outward but with time flowing in opposite directions. In our universe, time moves forward, so we experience the past as behind us and the future as ahead. In the mirror universe, time runs backward, meaning what we call the future would be their past, and their future would be our past. To understand this, let's break down the idea of time. In everyday life, time feels like a river flowing in one direction. You wake up, eat breakfast, go to school or work, and the day moves forward. This forward march of time is tied to the arrow of time, a concept in physics that describes why things age, break, or decay in one direction. For example, a glass can shatter into pieces, but those pieces don't magically reassemble into a glass. The arrow of time points forward in our universe because entropy increases, things get messy over time. The Janus point theory suggests that in the mirror universe, the arrow of time points the opposite way. In that world, entropy might decrease so broken glasses could reassemble, and people might grow younger instead of older. It's a strange, almost dreamlike idea, but it's grounded in serious physics. The theory draws inspiration from a principle called CPT symmetry, which stands for charge, parity, and time. This is a rule in particle physics that says the laws of the universe should look the same if you flip three things: the charge of particles, like switching positive to negative, their parity, like mirroring left and right, and the direction of time, forward to backward. Imagine looking at a movie of particles interacting. If you reversed the movie and flipped the charges and directions, the physics should still work the same. The Janus point theory uses CPT symmetry to propose that the mirror universe is a perfect counterpart to ours, with reversed time and opposite particle properties. Together, the two universes balance each other, like two sides of a cosmic equation. Now, let's picture the Janus point itself. Imagine a single, fleeting moment of perfect balance, where the universe was neither expanding nor contracting, neither ordered nor chaotic. At this point, the laws of physics were symmetrical and time had no direction. Then, in an instant, the Janus point split, sending two universes spiraling outward. In our universe, stars formed, galaxies spun, and life eventually emerged. In the mirror universe, the same thing happened, but with time flowing backward. To someone in that universe, our future would look like their distant past, and their future would stretch back toward the Janus point. It's as if the Big Bang was a cosmic crossroads, with two paths diverging in opposite directions. The physicists behind the Janus point theory didn't just dream this up out of thin air. They used complex math and computer simulations to test their ideas. They modeled the universe as a collection of particles, tracking how they move and interact over time. In their simulations, they found that starting from a highly symmetrical point, the particles naturally split into two groups, each evolving in opposite directions. These two groups could represent the two universes, with entropy increasing in both but in opposite time directions. The math suggested that the Janus point wasn't just a wild-eyed it was a possible solution to the mystery of why the Big Bang started with such low entropy. But why does this matter? For one, the Janus point theory offers a fresh way to think about the universe's origin. Instead of seeing the Big Bang as a one-of-a-kind event, it suggests a dual creation, where our universe is just half of a larger cosmic story. It also challenges our understanding of time. If a mirror universe exists with backward time, what would life be like there? Could beings in that universe even perceive their time as backward, or would it feel normal to them, just as forward time feels normal to us? These questions push us to rethink reality itself. Of course, the Janus point theory is still just theta theory. It's a fascinating idea, but it's incredibly hard to test. Unlike a lab experiment where you can measure results, the mirror universe, if it exists, is likely beyond our reach. We can't see it, touch it, or send a spaceship to visit it. The only clues might come from studying the cosmic microwave background, the faint glow left over from the Big Bang or from detecting strange particles, like the neutrinos found in Antarctica's Anita experiment, which some think could hint at parallel universes. For now, the Janus point remains a mathematical possibility, not a proven fact. Scientists need more data, better models, and perhaps new technologies to confirm or debunk it. The story of the Janus point is a reminder of how vast and mysterious the cosmos is. It's a tale of a single moment that might have birthed not one but two universes, each a mirror of the other, dancing through time in opposite directions. It challenges us to imagine a reality where time can flow backward, where the future and past swap places, and where our universe is just one half of a cosmic whole. As physicists continue to explore this idea, they're not just chasing equations theory, chasing the truth about where we came from and what else might be out there. The Janus Point, with its two-faced gaze, invites us to look beyond our universe and wonder, what lies on the other side? Cleopatra's Palace, a queen's hidden legacy. While the Janus Point theory imagines a mirror universe where time flows backward, a stranger and more personal tale of time's mysteries emerged in the early 2000s, captivating the internet with claims of a man who said he had already seen the future. His name was John Titor, and he claimed to be a time traveler from the year 2036. Appearing on obscure online forums, Titor spun a story of a dystopian future, advanced technology, and a mission that brought him back to our time. His posts sparked fascination, skepticism, and debate, with some wondering if he was a visitor from a parallel universe or simply a clever storyteller. Let's dive into the strange saga of John Titor, exploring who he claimed to be, what he said, and why his story still haunts our imagination. It all began in late 2000, when a user named timetravel_0 started posting on an internet forum called the Time Travel Institute. The internet was still young, a place of dial-up connections and clunky chat rooms, where people gathered to discuss everything from science to conspiracy theories. This mysterious user claimed to be a soldier from the future, sent back in time on a mission. By January 2001, he was using the name John Titor and posting on other platforms, including the Art Bell forums, a hub for fans of the paranormal. Over a few months, Titor shared detailed messages, answered questions, and even posted blurry photos of what he said was his time machineer device that looked like a boxy gadget stuffed into a Chevy truck. Titor's story was gripping. He said he was born in 1998 and lived in a future America torn apart by conflict. According to him, the early 2000s would see growing unrest, leading to a second American Civil War around 2008. By 2015, he claimed a global nuclear war would devastate the world, killing billions. In his 2036, society was rebuilding with small, rural communities replacing big cities. The government was decentralized and technology, while advanced, was focused on survival. Titor said he was part of a military unit that used time travel to retrieve resources from the past. His mission in 2000 was to recover an IBM 5100 computer, a clunky machine from the 1970s that he claimed had a secret feature needed to fix software bugs in his future. To explain his time travel, Titor described a device that sounded like something out of science fiction. He called it a C204 gravitational distortion time displacement unit, a machine that used mini black holes, tiny, superdense objects with intense gravitito-bend spacetime, the fabric of reality that combines space and time. By warping spacetime, the machine could create a path to another time. Titor said it was installed in his vehicle and powered by a complex system involving cesium clocks and magnetic fields. He even shared diagrams and photos, though they were grainy and hard to verify. To many, his technical details sounded convincing, but to others, they were just clever jargon. What made Titor's story so compelling was his mix of specific predictions and cryptic warnings. He talked about a world where Y2K, the feared computer glitch of 2000, wasn't a big deal but hinted at deeper societal problems. He predicted conflicts that didn't quite match our timeline, like a civil war that never happened in 2008. He also warned about mad cow disease spreading and suggested people learn to grow their own food. Titor's tone was calm but urgent, like a friend sharing a secret. He answered questions about his future, from trivial details like music trends to big ideas like the ethics of time travel. But he was cagey about proving his identity, saying he didn't want to change the timeline too much. As Titor's posts spread, people began to speculate about who or Wada really was. Some believed he was a genuine time traveler, perhaps from a parallel universe, a different version of reality where history unfolded differently. This idea tied into theories like the Janus point, where multiple universes might exist with their own timelines. If Titor's 2036 was real, maybe it was a future from another universe, not ours. Others thought he was a government agent, a prankster, or a writer testing a science fiction story. Skeptics pointed out holes in his tale. His predictions were often vague or wrong, and his time machine's physics didn't fully add up. For example, creating mini black holes would require energy far beyond what a truck could carry. By March 2001, Titor announced he was leaving. He said his mission was complete, and he needed to return to 2036. His final post thanked the forum users, and then he vanished from the internet. No one heard from him again, and no one could trace who he was. The mystery only grew as fans dug into his claims. Some found that the IBM 5100 did have a little-known feature for debugging old code, which Titor had mentioned before it was widely publicized. This fueled belief in his story, but it could also have been a lucky guess or insider knowledge from a tech enthusiast. In the years since, the John Titor saga has become a cultural phenomenon. Books, podcasts, and websites have analyzed his posts, and fans still debate his identity. Most experts lean toward calling it a hoax, a fake story crafted for fun or attention. Some suspect a small group, perhaps including a writer and a tech expert, worked together to create Titor's persona. Yet, no one has definitively unmasked him. The lack of proof keeps the mystery alive, with some holding out hope that Titor was real, perhaps a visitor from a parallel timeline where his future exists. The story of John Titor is a window into our fascination with time and possibility. Whether he was a time traveler, a storyteller, or something in between, his tale asks us to wonder, what if we could see the future? What if other worlds with different histories are out there? In the quiet corners of the early internet, Titor's words sparked a fire of curiosity that still burns, reminding us that the line between fact and fiction is sometimes as blurry as a grainy photo of a time machine. Alit Yam, the village under the waves. While the tale of John Titor, the alleged time traveler from 2036, stirred the internet with visions of alternate futures, a quieter but equally eerie mystery unfolded in the windswept cliffs of Ireland's west coast, where a village seemed to appear and vanish like a mirage. In the small coastal town of Doolin, known for its traditional music and rugged beauty, whispers of a strange phenomenon have lingered for decades. Locals and visitors claim to have seen an ancient village stone cottages, thatched roofs, and flickering lights materialize out of thin air, only to disappear minutes later. These fleeting glimpses have sparked tales of time slips, parallel universes, or even portals to another reality. Let's step into the misty landscapes of Doolin and unravel the story of its vanishing village, a mystery that blurs the line between legend and truth. Doolin sits in County Clare, a place where Ireland's wild heart beats strong. Its cliffs face the Atlantic Ocean, and its narrow roads wind past green fields and ancient ruins. The village is famous for its lively pubs, where musicians play fiddles and bowrants late into the night, and for its proximity to the cliffs of Moher, towering walls of stone that draw tourists from around the world. But beneath its charm lies a sense of the otherworldly. Ireland is a land steeped in folklore, with stories of fairies, ghosts, and hidden worlds. In Doolin, these tales take a peculiar form, sightings of a village that doesn't belong to our time. The story goes that on certain misty evenings, when the fog rolls in from the sea and the air feels thick with secrets, people have seen something extraordinary. They describe an old-fashioned village appearing in a field or near the cliffs, a cluster of stone houses with smoke curling from chimneys, figures moving in the distance, and the faint sound of voices or livestock. The scene feels vivid, as if stepping into a painting of Ireland centuries ago. But within minutes, the village fades away, leaving nothing but empty grass or rocky ground. Those who witness it are left stunned, questioning what they saw. Was it a trick of the light, a dream, or something stranger? One such account comes from a local farmer in the 1970s, who claimed he was walking home at dusk when he saw the village materialize in a field he knew well. He described low stone walls, a few small cottages, and a woman in old-fashioned clothing tending to a fire. Thinking it was a historical reenactment, he approached, but as he got closer, the entire scene dissolved into mist. He swore the ground showed no trace of structures or fire. Similar stories have surfaced over the years, often told quietly in pubs or passed down in families. Visitors, too, have reported odd experiences, like a hiker in the 1990s who saw lights flickering in a valley, only to find no sign of them when she investigated. What could explain these visions? One idea is a time slip, a moment when the fabric of time seems to glitch, letting people glimpse the past or future. Imagine time as a river usually flowing smoothly, but sometimes swirling in eddies that reveal another era. In Doolin, the vanishing village might be a snapshot of a long-gone settlement, briefly visible due to some unknown quirk in space-time blend of space and time that forms the universe's structure. Another theory points to a parallel universe, a separate reality existing alongside ours, like a neighboring room behind an invisible wall. If these worlds occasionally overlap, the village could be a piece of another universe bleeding into ours for a moment. To understand this, think of reality as a stack of transparent sheets, each a different universe or timeline. Normally, we only see our own sheet, but under rare conditions, we might catch a glimpse of another. Doolin's misty cliffs, with their ancient energy, could be a place where these sheets touch, creating a window to another world. Some even wonder if the village is a ghost of Doolin's own past, preserved in a kind of temporal echo, or a vision from a future where the village rebuilds in an old style. Skeptics, however, offer simpler explanations. The foggy, windswept landscape of Doolin can play tricks on the eyes. Miragous optical illusions caused by bending light could make distant objects appear closer or create fleeting images. Tired hikers or locals caught in the eerie twilight might misinterpret shadows or ruins as a living village. Ireland's rich storytelling tradition could also amplify these experiences, turning a strange moment into a legend. Ancient stone walls and ring forts dot the area, remnants of Celtic and medieval times, which might fuel the imagination when half seen in the mist. Yet the stories persist, too consistent to dismiss entirely. Doolin's history adds to the intrigue. The area has been inhabited for millennia, with archaeological sites like the Polnabrone Dolmen, a 5,000-year-old tomb, nearby. Could the vanishing village be tied to an ancient settlement, its memory somehow etched into the land? Or does Doolin sit on a ley linea supposed line of spiritual energy connecting sacred sites that make strange phenomena more likely? These ideas, while unproven, keep the mystery alive. Scientists haven't studied Doolin's vanishing village directly, as the reports are anecdotal, based on personal accounts rather than hard evidence. Unlike the neutrino experiments in Antarctica or the math behind the Janus point, this phenomenon lacks data to analyze. But that doesn't mean it's not worth exploring. Places like Doolin remind us that the world still holds secrets, even in an age of satellites and smartphones. If time slips or parallel universes are real, they might reveal themselves in quiet corners like this, where the veil between realities feels thin. The vanishing village of Doolin is a story of wonder and uncertainty. It's a tale whispered over pints in cozy pubs, carried on the sea breeze, and etched into the cliffs that guard Ireland's shore. Whether it's a glimpse of the past, a peek into another universe, or simply the magic of a misty evening. The mystery invites us to question what we know about time and reality. In Doolin, where the music plays and the waves crash, the vanishing village lingers as a haunting reminder that some doors to the unknown may open, if only for a moment. Lion City, China's Atlantis preserved. It was a hot summer day in July 1954, at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, Japan, when a routine customs check turned into one of the strangest mysteries in modern history. A well-dressed businessman, sporting a neat suit and a trimmed beard, stepped up to the customs desk after arriving on a flight from Europe. He handed over his passport, and at first, everything seemed normal. But as the customs officer flipped through the pages, his face twisted in confusion. The passport looked real: stamps, visas, and official seals all in order, but it claimed the man came from a country called Taured, a place that didn't exist on any map. This odd encounter, known as the Man from Taured story, has fueled decades of speculation about parallel universes, other realities existing alongside ours, with different histories and rules. The man, calm and confident, insisted he was from Taured, a nation he described as located between France and Spain, where the real-world Principality of Andorra sits. He said he was on a business trip, his third visit to Japan, and his passport backed him up with stamps from previous trips, including Japan and other countries. But when the officer showed him a world map and pointed out that no such country existed, the man grew frustrated, as if he were the one dealing with a mistake. He spoke fluent Japanese, French, and other languages, and carried a wallet full of legitimate European currencies, along with a driver's license and business cards, all marked with Taured. The customs team, baffled, decided to detain him for questioning, suspecting he might be a spy, a prankster, or something else entirely. They escorted him to a nearby hotel, placing him in a room on an upper floor with no balcony, under guard while they investigated. The man's belongings, including his passport and documents, were locked in a secure airport office. But the next morning, the impossible happened. The man was gone. The guards outside his door swore no one had entered or left, and the room showed no signs of escapino: open windows, no broken locks. Even stranger, all his documents, carefully stored at the airport, had vanished without a trace. It was as if the man and his mysterious country had never existed. The Japanese authorities were left with nothing but questions, and the story of the man from Taured became a legend, whispered as evidence of a parallel universe, a separate reality, where Taured was as real as Japan or France. To understand why this story feels so eerie, let's break it down. A parallel universe is like a different version of our world, existing alongside ours but with its own history, geography, or even physical laws. Think of it as a book with multiple endings, each one a different reality. In our world, Taured doesn't exist, but in another universe it might be a thriving nation. The man from Taured could have somehow crossed from his reality into ours, perhaps through a space-time rift, a tear in the fabric of reality where space and time get jumbled. If such a rift opened at Haneda Airport, it might have let him slip through, only for it to close behind him, pulling him and his documents back to his own world. The man's story is full of details that make it hard to dismiss as a simple hoax. His passport was reportedly detailed and authentic-looking, with stamps from countries that matched his travel history. He carried real money and spoke multiple languages fluently, suggesting he wasn't just a confused traveler. His frustration at the customs desk, as if our world was the one that didn't make sense, adds to the mystery. Some speculate he was a time traveler, like John Titor accidentally landing in the wrong era, but the existence of an entire unknown country points more toward a parallel universe than a jump through time. Skeptics, however, have other explanations. The story might be an urban legend, a tale passed down and embellished over time, with no official records to back it up. Haneda Airport's archives from 1954 show no mention of this incident, and the story first surfaced years later in books and magazines about the paranormal. The man could have been a clever con artist, using forged documents to dodge customs, only to escape during the night. Or perhaps he was a confused individual with mental health issues, misremembering his origins, and the disappearance was just a mix-up in a busy airport. The vanishing documents and guarded room, though, are harder to explain away unless the guards were mistaken or the story grew taller with each retelling. Another possibility is a misidentification. Andorra, a tiny nation between France and Spain, might have been confused with Taured due to a language barrier or clerical error. But this doesn't explain the man's detailed documents or his insistence on Tord's existence. Some even wonder if the story was a Cold War-era fabrication, spread to distract or confuse intelligence agencies during a tense time. Yet, the lack of concrete evidence, newspaper reports, police records, or eyewitness names makes it hard to pin down. Despite these doubts, the man from Taured's story endures because it taps into our curiosity about the unknown. It's like a puzzle with missing pieces, inviting us to imagine a world where a country like Taured exists, where history took a different path. If parallel universes are real, as some physicists suggest through theories like the multiverse, a collection of countless universes with different possibilities, then this man might have been a rare visitor caught in a cosmic glitch. Unlike the Anita experiments, neutrinos, or the Janus points math, this story relies on human experience, not data, making it both less provable and more haunting. The man from Taured vanished as mysteriously as he appeared, leaving behind a question that lingers. Did he slip back to his own world, or was he never here at all? In the bustling chaos of Haneda Airport, a single moment may have opened a window to another reality, only to close it forever. This strange tale, like a whisper from beyond, challenges us to wonder what lies just out of sight, in a universe where the impossible might just be real. In the quiet ripples of our reality, where the edges of time and space blur, the whispers of a parallel world grow louder, teasing us with glimpses of a cosmos that mirrors yet defies our own. These strange encounters, the fleeting shadows of Doolin's lost village, the enigmatic stranger from Taured, the backward dance of neutrinos, and the cosmic symmetry of the Janus point beckon us to believe that another universe hums just beyond our grasp, its rules woven from threads we cannot yet fathom. Yet, as we stand at this cosmic threshold, peering into the mist of the unknown, a question lingers, as haunting as it is unanswerable. What truths lie waiting in that mirrored realm, and will we ever cross the veil to know them? If unexplained stories give you chills, don't forget to follow Ancient Relics Keeper, where time and mystery intertwine, and every ending is just the beginning of another unanswered question.